41 cargo train terminals, 6 cargo airports, 1 cargo hub, more than 15,000 active cars and trucks at all times, 288 engineered wood plants able to convert or process 2,138,112 units a week. Let me introduce to you the biggest forest industry in City Skylines. Or may I even be so brave as to say it's the biggest forest industry in gaming history, producing millions of goods and pushing the game to its absolute limits. You guys better sit back, relax, while I show you what this city is all about. I'm gonna start with the statistics, cause that's what I find the most enjoyable. We got 540 farms, in this case small tree sapling greenhouses, producing over 4 million units a week. That is pretty goddamn crazy. 168 small log yards able to store over 100,000 tons of goods. 288 engineered wood plants able to convert or process 2,138,112 units a week. Now looking at the rest of the city, 43 fire stations, 29 police stations, 1 hospital, 43 crematoriums, 58 parks and 26 metro stations. Also, roads are one of our biggest expense here in the city, sitting at around 60k a week. Now we're gonna move on to the layout so you guys can see the ins and outs of the city, how stuff, cargo and everything travels around it in order to make the money that we're making. Ready guys, we are now in Photoshop and I'm gonna show you the ins and outs of the city. We're gonna have a look at the layout, how cargo trucks and everything rolls around the city and where all the goods are traveling. So let me start here first by grabbing a little brush. We got a green brush here and we're gonna mark out where we are producing goods. And here, this is where we're producing all our forest products. They are then transporting them down here to the road and I'm gonna mark the road. Okay. So this is how they are exporting a lot of their goods when it's going to storage. But it then needs to go from storage to being processed, but we're gonna cover that later. First of all, we're gonna cover the other flow of goods. And that is that they take the cargo train terminal here instead and go out here, 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 and let's see, where's the other one? It's back here. There we go. And this is to export directly to these engineered wood plants right here. We have one more right back here. They can exchange goods between each other to increase the flow going down here. This is one of the key points that really helps the flow of traffic a lot. So this is if this area up here wants to export to any of these down here, it can exchange between here, which will let it be able to travel to any of these down here very easily. We also have a secondary part doing that job and we're gonna mark that with a red here. So if they travel down here and if they want to switch, they can take this cargo train terminal. Okay, so this is how they can travel if they want to exchange after traveling down here instead of exchanging before. They can then exchange in this roundabout, and this is mostly just used when the city is kind of overloaded. So when there's too much traffic on the roads, that's when they'll start using this. So it kind of comes and goes in waves. It will look dead for a while and then they'll start using it big time. When the trucks have left off their cargo here, they need to have a way to go back. And I don't know the best way to mark that with. Let's go with yellow color. So after dumping their goods here, they can go out, take the road back here, and just traveling back to here. Okay, so this is how they can travel back, and of course now they can also use this here to exchange where they need to go. But also we have a little switching area right here that is shown in the video. Maybe I can show you guys footage of that right now, which allows them to switch into any of these that they want. Let's see here, going from the storage units, I guess we could mark this here with blue as well when they are exporting directly to the processing facilities. And right now I gotta show you how we do that over here as well. So from the storage units we can travel this road here. And now we're going to the processing facilities. We're going up this road and we're going out to them. They can split off here and go to the other chunk here. I'm gonna mark straight over that because it's just going underground. And now they're able to go all the way out here. That is looking great. They can also go underground here and up, around, out, and export to this here as well. Very nice. We also have some import coming in here for those buildings, but that is just going into the little switcheroo right here. So we don't have to mark that too much. I'm actually just gonna leave it as it is. The processing buildings can of course import goods from the airports up here as well. And even from this here, but they're mainly just used for export. And now we're gonna mark where we make our dough with purple. So now we're exporting goods, and there are so many ways that we can export goods here. We of course have here up to these, very nice. We have trains going down here that can export all the way. No, that's really ugly made. Let's see. And export all the way out. We also have these guys over here being able to directly export the forest products, and that is because sometimes you have too much of it and you need to be able to export it then. So that is what that looks. It connects up to double trains. It is export, but it is also import, which is very important. We have the exporting lines of roads going out here, going in underground right here, exporting out through here, also being able to export at this little airport here, and which is, it's very heavily used for that purpose, which is really good. We also have train tracks connecting all of these up here. Let's see. And that is so that it can do switching, but now it can also travel back here and export. Now you guys might say, we have covered most of it, that this here looks overly complicated. Maybe it is overly complicated, but before doing all of this switching, we had some issues where like this, wait, I'm gonna mark it with something else. I'm gonna do a fatter brush here. We had issues before where like this plot up here wanted to export stuff like down here, or maybe through this little cargo train terminal right here, which didn't work too good. So I implemented all the switching here, and that really helped a lot. Also all the switching in between here and all of that stuff. That helped relieve a lot of the traffic issues, because the thing is here, I first in the beginning tried to force how the goods were going to travel around the system, and that didn't work. First I wanted this area up here to export only to this area and to this plot up here. That didn't work, because these guys up here, maybe they wanted some goods here, some goods here, some here, some down here, some down here, maybe some down here in the commercial area where we can't even see it. So that was a big issue. So this one had to be able to efficiently travel to every plot here, and that is very many routes. Just look at this. It had to be able to travel to all of these efficiently. So the switching things here really made that possible. So now maybe you guys see what I'm trying to say. Also, after exporting, we have these importing lines here. We have these coming in here, importing to this switcheroo here, being able to travel back out through the red and purple one here. We also have a highway coming in here, delivering to all of these here. And also they're able to use the rest of the system in order to get back to these. Jesus Christ, I've been talking for too long now, guys, I'm sorry. What I'm trying to say here is basically we need to have a flow around the entire thing so that trucks exporting and traveling back can get to the entire industry. And I gotta say, we have achieved that. This is pretty great. Now I wanna show you guys some numbers in game. Of course, we gotta start having a look at the city. We have some issues here, like not enough bios for products, and you might have seen this one here not being used too heavily. It is being mostly used in waves when the other stuff can't keep up. Otherwise, everything is actually working pretty good, and I am pretty happy about that. I did not think it would work out this good. The airports over here are not being used pretty much ever. They could be removed, but I've just not bothered. It's good to have some little extra capacity here and there. Otherwise, everything is flowing pretty good except the commercial zoning in here. I think the commercial zoning here looks pretty goddamn epic, if I say so myself, but the cargo train terminals and all of those just can't keep up. Having a look at the city here in the night, we can see that it is looking pretty cool as well. We're gonna go into transportation. Right now we're sitting at around 1500 metro users a week. Moving on to outside connections. This is the part where we have changed the cargo capacity. Land value is of course sky high due to us using monuments. We have a 44% unemployment rate, holy shit. And that is mostly due to people being educated and not wanting to work here. I guess we could play around with removing some education and manually placing some lower education out, but this is what it looks like right now. Looking at the most interesting stuff, we have the industry itself. Workers, 30,000 workers. Produced resource units 3,111,500 units. Total profit 296,761. Most of the profit comes from the planed timber, which is great. Import we have 22,000 and the rest is just our own stuff. Going into the economy tab, we can have a look at the industry here and we see that 55.88% of our income comes from this industry. It brings in 415,000 monies a week, crime rate 4%. Electricity, we're using roughly 2,000 megawatts. Water, 1.1 million in both water consumption and sewage production. Garbage, pretty low, 300k, we got 600k, so it's totally fine. Education, everyone fully educated due to the monuments. Happiness, holy shit, 100% happiness on the residential, that is pretty epic. Commercial happiness 70% and the rest we don't have any. Health is perfect, monuments once again. Levels, pretty maxed out everywhere. Wind, doesn't really matter. Traffic, here we have one. As we can see, we have an average traffic flow of 73%, and I'm gonna show you guys something very important here. If we press Ctrl L, I have the mod, and we can see that we're sitting at 15,000 vehicles active. We have 15,000 vehicles rolling around these streets and we have a 73% average traffic flow. I would call that pretty goddamn good. Of course, we can do some improvements later on, but for now, I would say this is pretty amazing. 15,000 vehicles is right around the limit, which means if we were to expand the industry, we would not be able to use trucks, which is a problem, because you can only export with trucks from these and then to other means of transportations, but you gotta start with the trucks, so that's an issue. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.